There is a perfect example of motherhood out there. We've all felt its presence. It lingers in our social media feed, in the products we buy, the answers to the questions we research. Even though we know it's not real, we feel it spotlight what we could be doing better.
Join two best friends as they step off the stage of motherhood and go behind the scenes with moms from different walks of life.
The Momcult Podcast. Real moms, real talk, real tired.
I don't know the word, but I know that our S's sound a way that I don't love, and he says I can do something about that, but
I throw a de-esser on it.
yeah. That.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I was like going to get it just like a quick de-esser.
Do you send him the audio files after? And
He's had to fix some things. Yeah.
It's been a learning process for both of us.
Sometimes I forget to like change stuff or like put the gate on or, you know.
Hey, look at your turn.
The gate.
The gate on. That's my wife will be like, "What are you gonna bounce some stems? All right, all right."
Yes, that's actually what he's doing right now. Yeah. He's outside just bouncing some stems.
Is his studio here?
It's in the back. Yeah. It's awesome. Yeah. Totally separate so he can escape. And now, well, we heard about people before we had a kid who, like, if they played video games or they were up later than the wife, then they would go like out to their studio and that would be like their hideout. And I was like, oh, that's weird. And now that's fully the deal.
I'm the man in that situation.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's me.
Welcome, Emily Kopp.
Hi guys.
Hi, Emily. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Hit us with that bio.
Well, I'll tell you my take, and then you tell a little about yourself or whatever you'd like. Let's just talk about you. Let's just then. What? Jesus Christ!
This is what happens when Sarah has to introduce a guest.
No, well, I forgot about the intro. I did everything else. This is the most prepared I've ever been. I think even had my gate on, my low cut. But I met Emily, I think through Instagram, or I don't know how we met, but
I hit you up for something.
Yeah, cool. Okay, I couldn't remember if I just said that I liked your visuals or if you... Anyway, so I did some work for you a few years ago, and you are, to my knowledge, a very... Don't say successful, that you are successful, but I feel like that sounds weird, but you are. Songwriter. You have a... This is terrible. I have to start. I'm going to have a... I didn't do a good intro.
You're doing fine.
You're doing great.
No, that's not. That wasn't it. Cut this. Cut the whole thing.
I think you need to trust yourself.
Just be you.
Yeah. Do you want me to start from the top?
Okay.
Hey guys. Welcome to the Momcult Podcast.
Yeah. We'll probably keep everything from before here because I just choked on the intro for Emily Kopp, our guest, who goes by Lowen. It's her grandmother's name, maiden name, correct? No, mother's maiden name. And she is an incredible songwriter, artist. She's been performing, it seems like your entire life. And I did some work for you a couple of years ago, and your aesthetic is incredible. And then, from my understanding, you took a break from being a traveling touring artist and songwriter. You just correct me when I'm wrong.
No, you're great. You're doing great.
And you might have heard her on some like crazy sync placements. Sync placements is whenever you get like a song placed in a show for anybody who doesn't.
Cool.
Isn't it like in the know?
Yep.
Yeah. And you might have heard her on like Apple. I don't want to say the wrong thing. I know it's in your bio, but I already know this. I'm gonna just wing it. And your duo is or was called Midnight Riot.
Still is.
Still is. Awesome. And she has a 2-year-old named, can we say your name?
Luna.
Okay.
I'm literally wearing a Luna t-shirt.
I was going to ask how old she was.
Yeah, 18 months. Well, a year and a half. I don't know how many months exactly, but she's not quite 2, not quite
And
1.
what's your partner's name?
Robyn.
How long have you guys been together?
We met in 2015. So since then, married since 2017.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you guys went on you met in 2016 and then you went on like a world traveling tour. That's not the right way to say it when you're a songwriter that did tour. So you were just like exploring the planet. Yeah. How long after you met did you do that?
So Robyn and I met kind of like how you guys met at a party. Yeah. I met Robyn at a fundraiser that she was hosting at her house. And there was like a musical artist that was going to go play some background music, and a friend of a friend who had booked the group. I'm butchering this whole fucking Anyway, the music person backed out, and I was asked to come play some background songs, and at the time I was gigging in like restaurants 5 days a week to like pay my rent in between tours. So I was like, I have nothing better to do. I went, I played music, met her. I was in another relationship with a man. So like I didn't know what was going on. I just met her and it's like, wow. And then we ended up together. And then I would say like a year after that, we left to go backpacking. So I was like very burnt out on touring and being poor and writing bad songs. And I was living in Orlando and I wasn't really sure. It was like doing this. I would get on like a tour with a big artist for a few days and then it was like back to cover gigs.
Just roller coaster.
and then back. And didn't, you know, I mean, I still don't have a team. It's kind of like always been a one woman operation, but I was just like in this like loop of like not really sure what I was doing anymore, what the point was. She was a chef, like a long time career chef at the time, and was very, very, very ready for a break. So for various reasons, for each our own individual reasons, something we'd always wanted to do and that we realized people don't do. They just say they're going to do it. And so we just said, fuck it.
Yeah, I like to say I'm going to do that a lot.
And then it's hard to like, once you're more like settled, you can't.
Yeah.
And yeah, we did it right before. I mean, not that we're not going to do it again. But yeah, we like planned it was 8 months of planning leading up to it, selling our cars. How much money do we need to live off of if we want to stay out for a year? So we picked up extra jobs and we just saved. So we would only plan the next 2 destinations pretty much. Sometimes with no plan, and then sometimes we would set up like work stay opportunities where we would like work in exchange for lodging and do odd jobs and things like that. And so we did that for about like almost a year until it was time to move back to Nashville. And that's when I started, like my music started actually syncing. Was when I was like literally in a hostel in Hanoi, Vietnam, getting like emails.
Right.
Like, what the fuck?
That's usually when it happens. When you
let's
like
go
finally
stay in a nice hotel tonight.
when you finally give up on it, things start happening. You're like, come on.
Well, yeah, but that's like the lesson. It's like let go of the clench. At all times. Like whenever I feel myself now clenching towards anything, it's like a reminder to let the fuck go because.
If it gets too important, you kind of squander your own way.
Yeah, it never happens where you're looking.
Right.
Ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of like how we ended up in Nashville.
That's like good lesson for me. I'm like really just
Quit
letting
clenching,
it.
Sarah.
I wrote it down. I'm like, oh my God.
It's true. It's really hard. It's really hard.
Start crying.
And being here makes it harder. And being in Nashville makes it way harder because you're in it. You see other people clenching.
Of course.
And so then
and other people succeeding. So it's you have to like try not to be looking at what's going on outside of you.
Totally. And also it's like I remember leaving like music, life, world, the pursuit of it, and just sort of like being a person, being an artist in the world, and feeling like, oh, that actually is like not important. Nobody cares. There's only like a small percentage of people who really care about the Grammys and the
Right.
Nobody cares. That's just music life. That's just entertainment, business life. But that's not necessarily artist life or what it means to be happy or anything. And I think so now I try to catch myself when I start clenching to be like, you're being an idiot. Like, remember you from 2 years ago. This really doesn't matter. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
You should only really care about if you're happy. Like, you happy today?
Right.
Because it doesn't matter. It doesn't.
I am interested in when you guys started talking about wanting kids.
We always talked about one day when we have our family, one day when we have kids. But I wasn't quite ready for a long time. Robyn is 7 years older than I am. She was ready yesterday, like very patient, very willing to wait for me to be emotionally ready. haven't even really talked about this besides with just the people who knew, like my family, my therapist. Like, it was a disaster that we actually had scheduled our first insemination. We like had it ready, and I had a total breakdown, panic attack, and canceled the night before.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a very fucked up situation for, And so I think I was on the precipice of, I was turning 30, and I was having a lot of existential, not like angst, but worries about what life was going to look like, what I would be perceived as someone who's maybe not being nominated. Like, I had this narrative in my head, like, I'm not being nominated for Grammys yet. I'm not selling out tours yet. I'm not producing records for artists that I admire yet. How can I have a kid? Like, then it's over. Like, it's actually like, now that I'm on the other side of it, I understand that it's like actually quite the opposite.
Yeah.
But you don't know until you're in it. And I had to counsel through a lot of friends who already had kids. But I did find that most of my people that I was talking to were like other producer, like were dads. Like, I didn't have many peers as like a woman that's in the music world who does a bunch of things, who's having a kid, who's not the one being pregnant. Like, there were just so many things at play. And so, like, I was just talking to like my dad friends basically about it. Like, dude, what does your day look like? What does life look like? You know, am I going to be this like old, like, I don't know. The narrative that I had is, now that I'm on the other side of it, I can recognize how flawed and fucked up and rooted in total insecurity it was. But I had to like go through it. It was an absolute disaster.
Well, the fear is still justified, though. I had the luxury of going, it'll happen when it happens. Like, once my birth control runs out, and then I don't have to actually feel like I'm choosing when I'm ready for this. I'm just going to have to go, okay, it's happening, and then we're going to adjust. Whereas in your scenario, there is a plan and decisions made, like, when these things are going to happen, which, of course, is a lot more like, wait, is it the right time? Is it the right time? Am I ready? Am I ready? Which is super scary and intimidating.
Yeah, that's exactly right. There's like a million opportunities to say, are you sure? Like, are we sure?
Yeah.
There's like, I don't know, how some people go through this, but for us, there's the, the donor aspect. That's a whole chapter. That's like a whole era.
I'm interested in that.
So many feelings, so many things. There's the, I don't want to be physically pregnant. I don't feel that desire in my body.
Yeah, I was going to ask if it was pretty clear from the get-go who was going to carry the baby.
Super clear. She wanted to. I was stoked. I have no desire. Even now, I have no desire. Maybe it'll come later, but I just don't have that intrinsic feeling in my body. I don't feel connected to parenthood like through that. And so that worked out really great. And then but then there's like the legal aspect, and then there's changing our last name. Kopp. She's Butsko. We're like, okay, so we're gonna fucking hyphenate. Like, is our kid gonna be Luna Kopp Butsko? Awful. So we merged our last names and created a new last name. So we're the Koppsko family now. Kopp and Butsko. So we had to like apply.
Right.
You have to get approved. So there's that era, going to court.
It kind of sucks all the fun out of the whole process.
It's like the least hot romantic.
It's not like we got wasted on tequila and had this super passionate night.
It's
and then
not.
It happened.
It's like, we're like in an Airbnb in Atlanta, and I'm like, we're eating like Thai fucking food during COVID, and like trying to maybe hope that this is going to be our one trip that we have to go to Atlanta to do this. And it's like me like doing woo-woo shit like over her belly and like talking to it and like trying to have a moment before she went to the back to go get inseminated.
I was gonna say, is that where you were getting inseminated, or she was getting inseminated?
Yeah.
Okay.
We went to a few places here. Disaster. Disaster.
What makes
horrible?
Yeah, what makes them a bad experience?
If anybody's hearing this and you are in a same-sex couple, or if you're a heterosexual couple, I wouldn't. Maybe you'll have better luck here, but there are like 3 places here. One of them is more of like a high-end bougie baby factory type feeling, very out of touch.
Like a Build-A-Bear.
Yeah. Didn't like the vibe, didn't like the doctor, questioned us a million times, couldn't understand who was who. Like,
just felt like
who's having the baby, like just really, really not in a good feeling. That wasn't a way we wanted to create life. So then we found another doctor, and Robyn ended up getting a bunch of procedures that weren't necessary, and we ended up looking him up and found out some sketchy things. So anyway, my aunt and her wife have 17-year-old kids together, cousins that I'm super close with. And they're actually 2 sets of twins. My aunt carried and her wife carried, and
Both had twins?
they're kind of genetically quads. It's a whole
Wow.
Did they carry at the same time?
Same time. Wow. Both accidentally stayed pregnant. It was a whole thing. So their fertility doctor is someone I got in touch with through them, and he recommended a peer of his.
Cool.
That was in Atlanta. So he said, yeah, they'll go there. They're great. They deal with same-sex couples all the time. He was at like the start of fertility, and he's like the guy. So yeah, we drove to Atlanta, and that's how it went. But it was, there's a million opportunities to rethink every step of the way.
What helped you? What got you over that hump? Over that kind of panic, anxiety? Still haven't gotten over it yet.
Lexapro, honestly, like I got prescribed Lexapro,
And then things started looking up.
And then I was like, "What's the big deal?"
and every day didn't feel like I had to fight. It kind of felt like I was treading water just to not be on the verge of having a panic attack about just like how quickly things were happening, and how it was this feeling of like permanence. It's like like the roller coaster feeling of like once you're buckled up and you're going up.
Oh yeah, it's too late. I can't get off.
I've literally said that exact same thing, exactly the same thing on this podcast. Like
It's that
3
feeling.
times. It's that, and I think we all have that same, whatever the scenario. That's a common shared. Or for me, I don't know if I guess I can't speak for everybody, but I felt that exact same thing. And then like every time like a pregnancy test would sort of look positive, I'd be like, and then whenever it was, I just felt that like I'm just plummeting. There, this is it. Here we are.
Yeah,
Very wild. It was too late. It was just too late. Yeah.
I think if you're critically thinking about it, which probably means you should be a parent, right? If you're like having these thoughts, it's because it's not something that you just randomly decide one day. This is a human being. Like, this is not just a baby forever. This is someone who's going to be in the world long after we're going to be in the world. Their impact's going to be in the world. The way you sort of help be there, but like the scope of that, like the heaviness of that was hitting me too, as someone who was thinking about how like I have so much to do. Like, I'm imperfect. I have so many issues.
Same. I was thinking the same thing.
How? Like,
Still thinking the same thing.
it's like, I'm so flawed, but like, how am I going to help shape someone? But then I realized, like, that's how. It's like just being honest. Like, all the parts that I love about my mom are because she, and my parents, like my dad, my mom, like my stepdad, like, they fucked me up in many ways, and they built me in many ways, and nobody know. It's the first time any of us are doing this. Like, our kid doesn't know what they're doing. We don't know what the fuck we're doing. I'm still the same person. You're just a new person who's living with me now, and I love you because chemically I'm obsessed with you the second. Yeah. So, and now it's like I bow down to the ground she like walks on, and I completely understand. My life's changed. All those fears were put to rest the second she came into existence.
Yeah, when did that? Was it when she was here, or were you starting to feel more comfortable when you found out that Robyn, like, it worked and she was pregnant? And
yeah, it all kind of faded. Cool. I was like singing I became super, super, super like the fear of the thing. It's like before I bought a house, I had a similar thing. Like, there were a couple friends that reminded me every time there are these like turnkey moments in life. I have these like huge epiphany, existential, am I really going to do before marriage, before buying a house, anything that feels, maybe it's like I've seen it modeled in a way. I don't know where it comes from, but there's obviously a fear of like being stuck in something shitty and wanting to make sure I'm consciously making decisions in my life. It's always been my worst fear to like wake up at 50 and be like, what?
Right. How did I get here?
Whose house is this? Like, who made these decisions?
Yeah.
Like, you know, that's always been like my fear. So I think because of that, I've been extra, to a fault, hyper vigilant about being super conscious about all the decisions I've been making.
My self-critic definitely gets the loudest before a big shift or change.
How many kids do you have?
I have 2. I have a 10-year-old and a 2-year-old. Big old gap in my body and between my children.
Momcult, it's an ad. When you need a quick weeknight dinner, look no further than our friends at Mr. Aaron's Goods. You can get 25% off your order on MrAaronsGoods.com. They offer free delivery in East Nashville on Saturdays, and you can pick up Monday through Friday at TKO in East Nashville. But what Mr. Aaron's Goods does best is pastas, bagels, homemade baked goods. They have insane pasta sauces. Get them. MrAaronsGoods.com, MrAaronsGoods.com. Use code MOMCULT at checkout for 25% off. Locally owned, family operated in Nashville, Tennessee.
How old is Parker?
He's 3. He will be 4 in June.
Are your kids friends?
Not really, no.
Kind of.
I mean, maybe
He's just
eventually.
At some point, probably he and Penny will click. But she's so much smaller.
Once they like get past the first 3 or 4 years, then age starts to matter a lot less. Once everyone has all the same capabilities between like conversation and walking and, you know.
Yeah.
It's so fun. Little people are so funny. Like a 2-year-old, like that is true. Like the difference between a 2-year-old and even like a 3-year-old.
It's insane. Like months. Like a couple
like
of months.
One's a baby and one's a full blown crazy person.
Yeah, like it's not, it's a constant daily thing to remind myself, like, and I always am telling Eric, why are you using logic? Stop trying to be logical. And I say it to myself, I can't, I
just going to upset yourself.
Don't. It doesn't make sense. He's not logical. He cannot do it. It's not going to be logical. I don't really know when that starts. I mean, it's there's a couple of things that he sort of will be logical about, sort of.
Yeah.
But I think it happens for girls sooner.
Yeah. The prefrontal cortex, that's why. You have to be his I was listening to a podcast of Armchair Expert, and they were talking about it. Like, you have to be, do you have boys or girls?
Both girls.
Shut up.
Whatever. I don't want to like make this a gendery thing. We're going to get canceled.
No, that ship has sailed for us.
Yeah. We've already covered too many. We've already said too many.
Yeah. Just various inappropriate things.
I'm just going to say, like, facts are facts. The prefrontal cortex of a girl's brain is developed faster. It's just true.
Cool. Yeah.
I was going to ask, when Robyn was pregnant, and even when Luna was first born, I feel like husbands, it takes them longer to feel like they're a part of what's going on and understanding what the wife needs or whatever. And as another woman, I was wondering if you were able to have more of a connection with her throughout all of that, or if there still felt this kind of distance between like, I feel not as a part of this, but I know I will eventually, or I was just wondering how all of that played out as a same-sex couple.
Totally. Yeah. I would say it works the same way. I think 2 women together, there's like a natural desire to understand, even if I'm not in her body, I'm not having crazy shit come out of my vagina all the time. I'm not, I'm not feeling the flutters, but there's like I don't know if it's a me thing. I don't know if it's a 2-woman thing. I was super, super, super involved. Like in every single, I didn't miss an appointment. I wanted to be, if I can't physically have or I'm choosing to not physically have the experience, then I'm like, I bought like all the cool gear. I bought these like little headphones that clip on to like the belt buckle. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I saw those, yeah.
And you put in earbuds into them. It's like very extra. It's annoying. I have to like make playlists and I'm singing to her all the time and making sure Robyn's like eating well. And I would say it's like the equivalent of like two women having sex, like the way you take care of each other. And that there's like, oh, I'm going to take care of you, my queen. Like that's the vibe. Like I'm in it with you in solidarity. Even when Lou was a baby and like I didn't have to be up when Robyn was breastfeeding, it was my aunts who actually told me, like, I get it. You want to like be there in solidarity and like be up with her. But like this isn't about being a hero. Like you need to survive. So
everybody needs their sleep.
You need to sleep.
And one of us needs to not be tired.
Yeah, she needs to sleep when she needs like enough. Like we get it.
Eric did that too, and I was like,
it's not. It's
no, like
healthy.
one of us has to like be remotely sane. Like I'm gonna be. Yeah, I need you in the morning to be like doing stuff.
Yeah. But you see, that's the thing. I don't know if it's a woman thing. It just might be a partner thing. Like certain
No, everything
partners.
else you said definitely seems like woman stuff.
Yeah.
She's like, oh my, and like after giving birth.
I'm rethinking how I did this. Your way sounds.
Yeah, like I found out that like
My queen.
certain
My queen, what?
Yeah, I'm like massaging her. We have like a butter that I made, like a homemade.
We've made a huge mistake.
Yeah, I'm like, you're birthing our future favorite person. Like you're growing.
Right.
I'm obsessed with
I
this
know
whole
that.
thing. Like, you're like, of course I want to, that was my instinct for sure. It's also an appreciation. I chose to not do this. You're going through this. To me, this is like a shitty, not fun experience.
Right.
Like to her, maybe it has its beautiful moments, but to me, I'm grateful that she's there to like
So you
do
didn't
it.
have to.
So I'm like, I'll do anything. Like I want you to be happy, healthy, take your DHA. Like let me help you. How can we do that? So that was my role for sure. And I found out some husbands, not all, fall asleep while their kids being born. Some people are just like napping in the corner. Like some of our nurses could not believe that I was coherent the whole time and like with her in it and awake. They were like, yeah, some of these husbands just like sleep on the couch while their wife is like laboring with the doula. They just like leave them with the doula. I'm like, what? Like I made a playlist. I brought essential oils. I hung fucking posters and like affirmations. She got this card deck of like woo-woo moon girl shit. So I like hung it up and we were supposed to actually go to like the birthing center. And well, why did we end up not being able to go? Oh, because she had to be induced.
Yeah.
It was super sad. She was super emotional. It was she wanted to be au natural. So they gave her Pitocin, but she was like, I'm not getting an epidural.
Ooh.
So they had her on the highest dosage of Pitocin anyone could like have. And she wasn't dilating and she was in just extreme pain for so long.
Yeah.
And there was finally a moment where our doula came to me and was like, I've never seen someone on this much Pitocin for this long and she's not dilated. We have to give her an we have to go in there. She's in the bathroom like crying on the toilet. She's like, Robyn's hysterical. She's in pain. She's like, it's just intense.
It's not a fun experience. Yeah.
I was like, baby girl, let's talk. You're on so much fucking Pitocin right now.
Look at these moon cards. The moon cards are saying it's time for the epidural.
Take the epidural, baby. Like, don't be a hero. Like, it's time. And she's like, that's to do it naturally.
Yeah.
So I was like, we just need to get her out safe. Let's just fucking do it.
Yeah. That's one of the hardest things is like dropping, like, yes, you can have an ideal like scenario you would like for the birth to go, but also being totally prepared for it to go whatever way it's going to go. That is out of your control. And that is not an easy thing to prepare for.
Just having a healthy baby is like
Right.
the whole point.
Did you feel pretty connected with Luna right away, or did it take some time?
No, I caught her. I was like, this is, oh my, I understand everything. I'm a baby person though. Like I've always loved babies. I've always loved kids. I've always taught like music. I've always worked at camps or like School of Rock at one point in my career before I was doing music, my own music full time. And I've always been really close with my cousins. When little 4 quads were babies, I was 16. Yeah, like I was worried that I wasn't going to feel connected to her, especially because I've heard so many dads that didn't have that feeling right away. They had to like grow to, I don't know what you guys
and
felt.
for me, I didn't, with my first, it was definitely probably like 3 months before I was really like, oh, I'm a mom. And like, I'm feeling what that.
Did she feel like a
that feels
stranger?
like. She always felt separate than me, but my second didn't. And I don't know if that's like between first and second or also just their personalities, but I would say most of it was probably shock and an expectation of what I thought I was supposed to feel. And so then when I didn't feel that, that felt scary and,
Totally.
and a little distracting. And everything is just, you're thrust into trying to nurse. And they're telling you all this stuff and they're like, okay, bye. Leave the hospital, go home and keep
you have no
this
idea
baby
what's going
alive. And you're
on.
just like, I was young-ish too. I was 20, I just turned 28. So it just took some time to be like, okay.
Totally. There's that feeling of like, there's like a love that I had. I was holding her being like, this is someone who's not outside of us. Like, who are you? I love you. Who are you? I don't know. I don't even know if I like you.
Yeah, I don't know anything about
I don't know
you yet.
anything about. Yeah, and that is a mind fuck that nobody like. I don't know you. There's literally a stranger living with us. We don't know her isms. We don't know anything, and it's like up to us to like. The whole thing is just you guys know, but you can't articulate it to anybody until you're in it. The first 3 months specifically, what you're talking about, it's like the Twilight Zone mixed with bouts of like passionate love for this that you don't quite understand, like how to.
A love that hasn't existed before.
But then your logic brain is like, who the fuck are you? And also I'm like tired. What's going on? And like, where are my friends? Like what? There's just like a lot.
Where are my friends?
Like, there's a lot going
They are
on.
gone.
They're gone.
I swear they are.
Yeah. Who? Yeah, dude. There's like, and then also just like, I don't care. And then like, should I care? And then this perfect little baby person who's outside of myself, but who I care about. I'm glad I wrote a lot of it down and took a lot of videos because there's no way to like recall actually like the feelings of it because
There's no storage system in your body that
No.
can contain all of those emotions with such little sleep.
the level of sleep is actually shocking. Like I didn't understand
Yeah.
till I was in it. There's just no way to describe. There's just no way to describe. And it's so much more intense for you people who are breastfeeding. Like breastfeeding or if you are, did you breastfeed?
Yeah, for a while. I think I think it went on. I think it carried on for like 6 months technically, but I was pretty over it by 3 months and then just doing it some and
That's how
supplementing.
Robyn was. She's like, fuck.
But he's always eaten a lot. He was just really hungry. So he didn't care where it came from. He didn't care. He just wanted more food.
It's funny because Robyn and I were both experiencing our own insecurities, but not until we spoke of it did we know that. Like I had this insecurity of like, Lou doesn't, like she's not genetically connected to me. And this is something where I talked to my aunt's wife a lot about because she's really the only person who uniquely understands this. She wasn't genetically connected. She isn't, but she did carry.
To either set of the twins?
To either set. She did carry
Interesting.
2 of them though.
Cool.
So at least she had that part. But yeah, this feeling of, well, I'm not like genetically connected to her. Does she not feel like, will her body know that? Will her nervous system not feel as connected to me? Robyn is breastfeeding, so they're getting this bond. But then meanwhile, Robyn's like, no, I feel like Luna only wants me because I have food. She wants you because it's a choice for her.
Yeah. She has to like me.
She has to like me. She's just, I'm like the cow to her. So we just had to constantly talk about these things. And we do constantly talk. It's going to be part of our narrative and our family story and Luna's origin story. And, you know, like making her aware of it as she gets older and giving it to her in age appropriate doses where she can understand and being just like super honest about it. But, you know, ultimately it's like and we might one day, who knows, but if we were to adopt a child, it's like, it wouldn't change a thing. That's your person. That's the person's in your family. You love them. And that's a choice. Anybody can fuck and have a baby, but to be, I think, like a parent to someone and like someone who's consciously involved and wants to grow that love, that doesn't take genes.
Momcult, have you washed your car yet in 2023? Better yet, have you vacuumed the back seat of your car in 2023? I don't know if you visited Camel Express before, but they have crazy high-powered vacuums that are stronger than any vacuum I've used in my life, and they're free. For a limited time, Momcult member, you can get a Best Wash that's a $25 value free. You just text Momcult to 30400, and you get a free $25 car wash texted to your phone. That's Momcult, one word, to 30400. Visit camelexpress.com to find your camel, the one nearest you. Get over there and wash off the grime of 2022 today.
With your music, you were talking about part of the reason you went on that big trip was to gain some more balance and get yourself out of the burnout that happens. And I was curious if you found your footing with that post having a kid.
Well, for creative life, it's been amazing. I started writing a lot, and not writing in this like scheduled, arbitrary way, but like it's just happening naturally because there's what to write about. I'm walking around the house with her doing bits and beatboxing and doing skits and being, I feel like I'm myself. Yeah. And I'm like myself around her because she has no preconceived notion of who I am or who I should be. And so I feel like I'm me when I was at my purest, like 9-10 years old, before like really sad things started to happen, you know, whatever it is. Yeah. Like
I feel that same way, actually.
Totally, you know, before the chemicals in my brain started getting beat down by whatever.
I was thinking about that when you were talking about the fear of if I have a kid, you know, how much is that going to change everything else in my life? And talking about once you are on the other side of it, like the same thing happened for me, which was both my kids have pushed me to find myself even more and to push myself towards what I love more, when my fear was that I'm going to have to fight. I'm going to have to choose between the two all the time and feel guilty about putting myself before something, when really it all ends up working, at least emotionally, ends up working cohesively.
Is that would you say that's like this, was that the start of why the podcast started, or like how the podcast started?
I was out with some friends one time and we were all just sitting around talking and laughing and complaining. And one of them says, "You need to start a podcast." I was like, you know what? It really would be nice. It's so hard to get a group of moms together for a drink. And so I wanted to be able to create that vibe of being out, having drinks with friends, but it's accessible no matter where you are. So that's really why the podcast ended up starting.
So how do you guys find like making other mom friends? Like how do you, because I feel like a lot of, so being completely honest, I'm like in this early phase of having a kid where I'm straddling this feeling of, right, like half of the people I have normally been close with don't have a child. And like a lot of them are not even close. They're not even in relationships. And then there's like another segment of people who have crossed our paths who are like kind of similar age, young kids. but are maybe a little bit more
already established,
conventional or whatever, whatever. Like
Conventional, yes.
they won't think it's okay if I like take out my vape, like my vape when we're like all hanging, just different. And then
you're trying to find your people.
Trying to like and then there's like people at the school, but like I don't meet her, her best friend at school right now is this girl Mimi, but like I don't really know who Mimi's mom is, and chances are, if I meet Mimi's mom might be like an accountant. Not that that's a bad thing, but it's like
not there's anything wrong with that.
Our schedules wouldn't even line up.
Got it. Yes.
Like, are you going to come on a camping trip with us? Are you going so our closest, our two best friends, they don't have kids, but they're in it with us.
Right,
Like they come over,
they're available
they change
to
diapers,
come over.
they hang at bath time. They care about Lou as much as we do.
Mm-hmm. Do they have a kid?
Not as much, but like obviously.
Right. Yeah,
but like as friends, they're like, oh, we're aunt, so and so. Or uncle, so a lot of uncles. My guy friends are very much like, hey, can I come by and like see Lou? I'm in the area. Like,
yeah,
sure, she's free. Come on over.
That's awesome.
That's really nice. But it's also nice to like see her with other kids and like hanging out with other kids. But like, man, sometimes just like I don't want to hang with.
Right. So let's just hang out because I don't know. I haven't found that yet, and I'm still waiting to figure out. I'm like, how do I make friends with other families that I feel like are our vibe? But I'm stuck in this like no man's land of Jeremy works Thursday to Sunday, and that's when everyone has the weekend and gets their families together. Finding someone who has the same lifestyle and schedule feels impossible. And that I will see groups of moms that really seem to have that, like where their whole, it's not just the moms that hang out, but the whole, like the husbands and wives and kids, and they'll do spring breaks together and they'll all go camping together. And I'm like, when are we going to find our people that we do that with?
Like where both people I can't fathom that is so rare that both sets are like obsessed with each other.
Yeah, like
it feels like a fantasy that I need to let go
to
of.
like the parent of the like all that and the Parker to like the kid. Well, he'll like any kid. He can get on board with any kid. So it's really just us. We're the ones complicating it.
Yeah, and then there's like, oh, there's even like family too. It's just like different. Like we wouldn't even go get the same food if we all went on vacation together. Like we wouldn't be able to shop together. I hope Lou makes friends with people whose parents we like. Yeah, we should.
She will.
Get our kids together.
You can force it. You can force it.
You should come over.
My oldest is about to start middle school next year. And so she's been at the same school since she was 3. And I'm excited, but also trying not to have too many expectations. But I was like, I'm ready for her world to get bigger so our world can get bigger. Like when she's changing schools, she's going to meet all these new kids and make new friends, and then maybe one of those friends will have some cool parents that like it just works and clicks, and they'll want to come over to our house. That's our problem too. Is like with Penny being 2 and getting into everything. It's like, well, if I am going to go over to somebody's house, is their house child proofed? Am I going to be able to have a conversation, or am I going to be chasing Penny around their house the whole time? And is it going to end up being more stressful? Whatever.
I hear that. Yeah, I totally get it. And also, like,
we can just like attempt one hang, and then we'll see how it goes.
Does your 10-year-old like help with the 2-year-old?
When she wants to.
The gap's really big, but like I'm like thinking when they're older, like college, high school, I feel like they're gonna like look out.
Oh, I'm sure it'll be adorable. Yeah. And there are adorable moments now. They just don't happen as often as I thought that they would or would like them to. But I really struggled with, do I want an only child? So my sister is 9 years older than me, and I love that I'm getting to kind of watch that play out in my own life, which really I didn't think that there would be a gap. If I did have more than one kid, I definitely didn't know that it would be that far apart. And the further apart it got, the more I doubted, is it too late? Is it too late to try and do that? Am I ready? Do I want to go through all of this again?
Man.
But, again, then they're here and you're like, there was just no other way that this is what our life is supposed to be. This is who we're supposed to have. And I had 2 miscarriages before her. And through both of those, I was just like, well, this wasn't our baby. Like, if the baby's not here, then this wasn't supposed to be our baby. And now, of course, Penny's here, and I'm like, I wouldn't have gotten her. Like, and I can't. That she's the only one that I want.
Oh man, I'm like taking it all in because the second child thing is like so hot on my brain.
Yeah, it likes to linger there like a little bitch.
That's a good time. That's a good time. I mean, we're thinking in the same direction, and I'm like, that sounds cool. I really want him to have a sibling, but the starting over thing doesn't sound fun. This is like a way jump back, but I really have to ask this question. When you were shopping for donors, did you get to look at pictures? Did you get to see like their family history? Did you do like that? I've heard it called the VIP package where you like get to see like all the information. Did you do that? Did you do that add-on?
Yeah. So before we even started looking at donors, it was just like, I mean, where? There's so many places where you can go. So many resources, so then it's like, let's investigate each detailed part of each bank that you could buy a donor. You know, do we want to go with someone we maybe don't know, but know through friends? I knew people who have done that successfully and has been a beautiful situation for them. And we got pretty far down one rabbit hole before we got to a dead end with a person that we ultimately opted not to do, but we got as far as FaceTiming, and
the donor himself
at one point. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know they did that.
No, this wasn't through a bank. This was like a friend of a friend. Wow. Yeah, we were entertaining that idea for a second until we were like,
wait, what?
No. This isn't
Too complicated.
Way too much, and we just through talking to family members and just like legally, you have to do all the things that a sperm bank would have to do. We ultimately, so when you go with a sperm bank, you can see photos, childhood photos, adult photos. Some donors don't have any photos. It just kind of depends. Some have totally closed options where they never want to be contacted. Some have something called an open thing, which is at age 18. Your kid can reach out and they can either say, yes, here's my information, or they can say to the sperm bank, no. And then there's something that's called totally open ID, which is a newer thing, which is at 18, if your child chooses to, the sperm bank will release the last known information, the full name and everything. And it's that donor making a decision when they donate to say,
be contacted.
Yes, if you so choose, I'll have a conversation. So
What'd you end up with?
Open.
Nice.
Cool. I like that. I would want that option too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think I just thought for like future her, like, I don't know, I didn't want her to ever feel like if we had the choice, you chose to not give me choice.
Right.
Yeah, like you're going to know your origin story, you have every right to scope it out. And I don't want her to create like a black box that she never gets to. This is also, she's going to have an understanding that this is a part of her story, but it's like she's going to know that that's not the person who raised her. So whatever interest she would have is, would be totally because of her own curiosity and her right to know. So we chose that.
Did you see his picture?
Yeah, we have his childhood photos. Yeah.
Is he hot?
Cool. Yeah.
As a child.
That's really funny. I'm not going to answer that. Yeah, he's cute.
Smart.
He's very cute.
Adorable.
He's adorable.
That's what I meant.
He probably is attractive as an adult. Yeah.
Speaking of making huge life choices on someone that you've never met, how about we can do like a 30-second pop culture corner, I think you mentioned you like Married at First Sight.
I love Married at First Sight.
Have you watched all this?
I've only watched Love is Blind. I haven't done Married at First Sight.
I watched that too.
But I would imagine it's somewhat similar.
Yeah, it's a theme.
So good. Those shows are so good.
Normally like I do like a recap of that, and I can't, let me see. I watched like the first season and I really liked that show, the first season. The second or third, I haven't.
Well, what are you guys watching? I've probably seen it.
I watch everything else but that show. No, I'm just kidding. Well, honestly,
she watches everything.
Love Island.
Yep, I watch it.
Are you caught up? I haven't had anybody.
Yeah, like there's no new.
I haven't had anyone on the show that watches it.
I love Love Island. Yeah, I'm like all caught up as far as like there's no new seasons.
There's one right now. It's on Hulu. You can watch it.
What do you mean? When did it come out?
It's happening.
What are you doing
right
later?
now? Yeah, like what are you doing after?
What are you doing after?
It's happening right now. It's on like the 6th episode, and
is it Love Island UK?
Yes. The only one that matters. Please don't tell me you watch the American one.
I see and there's another one that's not even in English.
Ooh.
I'm 99% sure.
Okay.
I don't know. I'll look into it.
The one in the UK seems like it's not in English.
Love Island Turkey.
Sometimes can't understand them, I have to be honest, in the
one
UK.
We can't. Well, now we can because now I've like, it's like I live there because I watched 700 episodes.
Well, give me
of the
some
same
Love
people.
Island dish for the person who hasn't
Okay.
watched it.
So you
have
got what?
10
You've got
seconds.
4 minutes.
They're all hot.
Literally. Okay, great. 1 minute. Love Island.
Go.
Love Island. I feel that my opinion is a little. Wow. The UK one's the only one that matters. They they bring people in from all over the UK, and it's like, oh my God, just watch it. It's so good.
It's so
Here's
good.
what I'll tell you. Here's there's
so
so many
attractive.
like specific things you'll get like in the world of the show, but stay with it until episode 16. Because there are 67 episodes in every season. Because it's
so
on
many.
5 nights a week. I think maybe 7 in the UK. Every single night.
you're right.
So you miss nothing from these people's lives. And these people like will start out, you'll be like, what is this? Who are these idiots? And by episode 16, I'm literally sobbing. And by the end, I'm like, I love Faye. I can't believe he gave her that dog.
100%.
It's like, I don't know anything about talking into a mic, so if that's
100%.
really loud to you, I'm sorry. But it's, I don't know if that's bad.
I think the passion is palpable.
That's 100% the vibe.
It is so good.
It teaches me how judgmental I am too, because you do like I
Yes.
look at them and I'm like, these fucking idiots, like these fucking influencer
I'm watching
idiots are
this
so
just so I can
hot.
feel good about myself
And
because
then
you're so stupid.
You realize like they're layered. Everyone's
human
layered.
We're all just people.
I fucking love it. I think that's why we watch it because it's so fun. So that's Love Island. It's great.
So you didn't watch UK? You don't?
Yeah, I'm just not caught. I didn't know there was a new.
No, not the new one. Okay, but did you watch the one with Teddy and Faye?
This is embarrassing to say, but I've watched so much reality television.
You forget.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
What do they look like?
Well, I guess that wraps
it's
it
a
up.
black guy. It's like a hot black guy, and like a woman. She is like really, really done up. And when I first saw her, I was like, she is one thing. And then I like by the end, literally almost cried just even thinking about her. I love her so much. She is the antithesis of what I would think that I would be friends with her, that I would like. She was older. She's like I think one of the oldest people that's been on the show. I'm sorry, Faye, if you, I know obviously you're listening.
What is she?
Faye and Teddy. And if they're not still together, I might actually start crying. Anyway, she's just so tortured and damaged, and he just like sticks with it and like sees her through it. And I think I just relate to her, and I'm like, oh my God. And she would just fuck it up over and over, and then he would just see her anyway. And I wish
So
you
you're
guys
just seeing yourself and Faye.
yeah,
Really.
100%. and honestly, Eric and Teddy, because it would be like, literally when we met, like the first thing that I said to him was, oh yeah, you don't want to do this. Like, no. Like
do
when he
not
was like
wanna sign up
serious
for this,
and like being
sir.
sweet, like holding my hand, I was like, you don't have to, let's not, please. And he just like stuck with it. So
You're the original
Anyway.
Teddy and Faye.
The original Teddy and Faye.
yeah, it's good.
I'm sad we didn't have time. I skipped check-in because I knew that we would be rushed for time.
I noticed that we didn't do that, but I thought I was just derailed by my like botching of the first intro. So
No.
There's no fluff on this podcast.
no.
It's only real.
Yeah.
It's only the good stuff.
Yeah. Just the meat.
We don't banter. We just get.
Yeah, just straight in, just raw dog. Sorry. Thank you, Emily Kopp, for being here.
Thank you.
It was lovely to meet you, and for real. I mean, we both have 2-year-olds. We have no excuse.
All right, you can
not
schedule
to get them
things
together. Sorry. I'm sorry. Your kid is too advanced to hang out with our kids.
He is. Well, his prefrontal cortex is not.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's at the level probably of our.
Yeah, he's still so dumb.
Did you see those stupid paintings on the floor in there?
I did those. Thank you, Joy. Thank you for
so
listening.
welcome.
Yeah, and I always get this really well. Like us on something, rate us 5 stars. Otherwise, don't do any of that on podcasts, whatever you do. And you can follow Joy at Tiffica, Tiffi. Is that right? ICA?
Tiffica.
Yeah. You can follow me at Sarah Parker Massey, and you can follow Emily at Lowen, right? Lowen. Is that right? Lowen? No. Earth to Lowen.
Oh,
I knew
that's
it.
right.
Earth to Lowen? Lowen was taken, so I had to come up with something.
No, I like that.
Earth.
Wow, the first time.
You should sample
First
that.
podcast burp.
We're sorry. That'll be so upsetting to so many people.
I know, but you know what? It's just part of who I am. And like we learned with Faye, everybody's got layers.
Yeah.
So.
That note.